He said, pray as you see me pray. Utter these words that you hear me say. Based on the Sunnah, worship Him, just follow Him.
Assalamu alaikum. New class coming to you every Monday and Wednesdays, taught by Ustadah Laila Nasheeba, the fiqh of prayer. Every Monday and Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Inshallah, we'll see you there. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our class entitled How to Pray from A to Z. How to Pray from A to Z. And I want you guys to remember that every Muslim is supposed to know the rules of prayer. You know, we talked about how once you convert to Islam, it then becomes an obligation for each and every one of us to learn this religion. You're supposed to know how to pray. You're supposed to know the rules of fasting. You're supposed to know how to dress, how to behave in the public, how to behave at home. Seeking knowledge of our beautiful way of life is an obligation upon us all. And again, we're not excused permanently. A lot of people, you know, we understand that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lets us know and clearly that Allah does not hold us accountable for what we don't know. But there are definitely some things that we're supposed to know. And one of them is prayer. And if Allah has allowed you to live long on this earth and you have not learned it, you will be held accountable. Is that clear? Does everybody understand that hadith? Because this is a hadith that we hear twisted a lot in 2024. Oh, well, Allah doesn't hold me accountable for what I don't know. And you keep it moving. No. Certain things. Every Muslim is supposed to know how to fulfill their obligations. The obligations that Allah has imposed upon us, we are required to know those things. So if you die, the angel of death is going to ask you, why didn't you know how to pray? Allah blessed you with a long life. You lived on this earth for 20 years. You lived on this earth for 30 years. You lived on this earth for 40 years. And you mean to tell me you've been Muslim all that time? And you did not know that Fatiha, that no prayer is accepted without the Fatiha? Oh no, Allah is not going to take this excuse from you. And then you're going to be punished, guys. That's the reality. That's the reality. You cannot live your life ignorant. You know, I was listening to a discussion of two Muslims. You know, I was minding my own business, but I overheard their argument. One of the women was saying to the other one, you know, you got to learn your religion. And the other woman said, why? The more I know, the more I'm held accountable. And the other woman said, what did you say? And she said, like I said, why should I learn anything? The more you know, the more you're held accountable. And I'm like, oh my God, isn't that about as mutazilistic as you can get? Subhanallah. So you want to keep yourself ignorant of the religion because you're afraid of being held accountable? Oh my God, are we that twisted as Muslims? Yes, we are, sadly. Guys, we have to learn this religion. That's something you're obligated to do, just like wearing a hijab is an obligation. Praying is an obligation. Learning how to fulfill and how to worship your Lord is an obligation. You can't say, well, I don't want to learn nothing. because the least I know, the less I'm held accountable. That's not true. You're going to be held accountable for everything that you should have learned and you refuse to do it. Does that make sense to everybody? Sister Mina, did you hear what I just said? I just overheard too.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because have you ever heard that before?
Yeah.
I was taking the garbage out. Seriously, guys. And there were two Muslim ladies standing outside. They had just taken their garbage out too. They were Arabs. You know, I live around a lot of Arabs. And Egyptians. So she said, you have to learn your deen. You just have to learn your deen. She said, why should I? All it means is I'm going to be held more accountable. And the other lady stood, she said, what did you say? What? She said, what did you say? She said, why should I learn? Because it's the least I have to be accountable for. I put the bag down. I turned around, got into my SUV and said, whoa, and drove off. I never heard that. I said, this is an Arab woman. This is an Egyptian. And she's sitting there saying she ain't going to learn her deen. I don't know if they were related. Maybe they were sisters. They look around the same age. They could have been sisters arguing. I don't know. You know, but I'm like, I've never heard that. Wow. We are really twisted. Well, that's why I'm doing this class on how to perform the prayer. Because as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, the first thing that you're going to be asked about is your prayer. And that's just not on the day of judgment. You're going to be asked about your prayers in your grave too. So I wish that lady was listening to me, because she's going to be asked about her prayers. Why didn't you make your salat? Okay. And as the prophet said, if everything goes good with the prayer, then everything else will be okay. It's the first thing that we're going to be questioned about. If it's good, then everything else after that will be good. But if your prayers were wanting, if they were lacking, everything else is going to be wanting and lacking too. And so the last time we met, we spoke about the virtues of the Adhan. And we already covered the times of the prayer. We already covered why we pray, who's obligated to pray. Well, today we're going to speak more about the Adhan, and we're going to speak about the Iqamah. And I'm going to start this class off with a quiz. So everybody pay attention, wake up. Here comes the quiz. Okay, let me put it up here. Let's see how well you guys can do. Miss Margaret, are you ready? Walaikum salam, Margaret. Here's your quiz. Margaret likes the quizzes, alhamdulillah. That's why she's doing so good. Margaret, you're real smart too. You can tell she must have been a good student when she was in school, because she's very intelligent. Okay, so here's our quiz. So, but again, today we're going to speak about the virtues of the Iqamah as well as more about the Adhan. But I'm going to start this off with a quiz from the last time we met. The last time we met, we spoke about the virtues of the Adhan. Let's look at the first question. Which of the following are rewards for being an Adhan caller? Let me put the first one up, and then you tell me if this is a reward or not. What about this one? Is this a reward? The people who call the Adhan will have the longest necks on the day of judgment. Is that one of the rewards for being a person that calls the Adhan? What do y'all think? Is this a reward?
Yes, it is.
MashaAllah. Good job. Yes, this is one of the rewards. Good job. Well, walaikum salam, brother Tashri. Tashri's here to learn too. Okay, this is one of the rewards of being a person that calls the Adhan. How many of you sisters, have donated your sons in the service of Allah by taking them to the mosque on the weekends and asking the imam if your son can call the Adhan, to get your sons in the habit? Any of you did that? No. That's something good you sisters might want to do. Ask the imam if your sons can come in for Dhuhr and Asr and call the Adhan. Every boy should experience that. What about this? Can a girl call the Adhan at the mosque?
No. No.
Very good. Women cannot call the Adhan. And I don't care to hear about what they're doing in Egypt. I already know that there's countries in the world and there's places right here in America, especially down south, where they got women calling the Adhan. And they also got women as imamas too. A woman cannot be an imam and a woman cannot call the Adhan. This is crazy. We're living in the days of fitan. Okay, what about this? Is this a reward? They are also forgiven for their sins, the distance that their voice travels. Is that one of the rewards of being an Adhan caller? What do you guys think? Is that a reward? They're forgiven of their sins, the distance that their voice travels. Is that a reward of calling the Adhan? What do you think, Brother Tashri?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Yasmin said yes. Brother Tajri, what do you think? Is that a reward for calling the Adhan? You'll be forgiven of your sins, the distance. MashaAllah, good job. Yes, this is a reward. So again, you brothers, Brother Tashri, you need to learn how to pronounce the Adhan and then go to the mosque and volunteer to call it a couple of times during the week so you can get this reward. We all say we've all done bad things in our life. None of us are sinless. Okay? And we're always asking, what are some things I can do to be forgiven of my sins? You brothers got it easy here. Go to the mosque and call the Adhan. Allah will forgive you the distance that your voice travels or whatever sins you did. Good way to get forgiven. What about this? Is this a reward? They will get the reward of everyone who comes and prays that prayer. Is that one of the rewards? You will be rewarded the blessings of everyone who comes and prays that prayer. Is that a reward?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What do you brothers think? Good job. Yes, it is. Good job, Tajri. Good job, Fatima. Good job, Miss Jackson. What's that song? Me and... Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm silly. It just hit me. But that ain't Mrs. Jackson. That's Mrs. Jones. I hated that song. And I don't know why every time I see Miss Jackson's name. Was there a song about a Jackson? Mrs. Yeah. What was it? Mrs. Jackson?
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Yeah, by Outkast.
How did it go?
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Oh, wait a minute. I know it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sing.
You know what I'm talking about? They the people that made Roses. I know it's that. I'm telling you, Jackson, that song, it's the one by Outkast.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jackson, you don't like roses. Like roses. Yeah.
Different songs.
Say what?
The Roses that's two different songs.
Oh, but they the same people, right? Yeah. I know. I'm telling y'all, I messed up from the 80s. The 80s messed me up. The songs from the 80s and 90s, that was in the 90s. The 80s and 90s, they all in my head because I was in college and I was the editor of the Cleveland State Vindicator. The Cleveland State Vindicator was right there at where all that music played. And I'm telling you, those songs are embedded in, yeah, Andre. That was Andre. Y'all know Miss Jackson. Yeah, that's it. You know what happened to him? Did he die? Is he dead?
No, they say he's Muslim. He stopped singing.
Oh, he's Muslim. MashaAllah. I liked him. So he didn't die. He's Muslim. Yeah, a lot of those rap guys from the 80s and 90s converted to Islam. Andre, yeah. Okay, but good job. Exactly, guys. You get the reward. This is a great benefit of being an Adhan caller. You get the reward of everyone, who comes and prays that prayer with you. Good job. Y'all got these answers right. Okay, here's another question. There are 3 ways in which the Adhan can be pronounced. Is that statement true or false? There are 3 ways that the Adhan can be called. What do you brothers think? The sisters probably don't know, because the women don't call the Adhan. I know I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know if I was an Adaya. Is this statement true or false? There are 3 ways that the Adhan can be pronounced. Miss Jackson said it's true. Good job, Pamela. Pamela said it's true. And mashallah, this is true, guys. Y'all got it right. This is true. There's 3 ways, and we're going to talk about the Iqamah. There's 3 ways that the Prophet taught the Iqamah too. A lot of Muslims don't know that. Okay? Brother Tajri, he said, I'm going to ask the Imam to let him call the Adhan this Juma. Good job, Brother Tajri. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Brother Tashri's going to ask the Imam to let him call the Adhan. Exactly. Look at all that reward. All the people that come to Juma, you're getting the reward of their prayers. Plus, you're being forgiven of all your sins. The distance that your voice, make sure you call it loud too. Because we got some sins, man. So call it loud to get rid of those sins. Subhanallah. Good job. What about this? Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Your screen is paused. Why did my screen pause? Am I still moderate? Oh, here it is. Resume. Yeah. Okay. What happened? Did I dismodify myself? Demodify?
No, you still host.
I did something stupid. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got too many computers. I got 3 computers here, guys, and I'm mixing the mouses up. Let me put this mouse over here and this mouse here. Okay. So next question. I can't see. Prayer is better than sleep. Is said in every Adhan. Is that statement true or is that statement false? In every Adhan, we say prayer is better than sleep. Is that statement true or false?
False. False.
Good job. This is false. What prayer do we say that in?
Fajr.
Mashallah. That's the Fajr prayer. Good job. Mashallah. Good job. Everybody got that right. There's Shamsa taking a break from her nursing duties. She's a nurse. Oh, yeah. May Allah make it easy for the Muslim nurses of America. Ameen. Because I know y'all are overtimed and overworked and overpaid. Yeah, y'all overpaid. Mashallah. All right. Now look at this picture here. What time? What prayer? Not prayer. What time of day is this? What time of day is this? And I want you to look at the sky, the color of the sky. Also look at where the colors are placed in the sky. Look to see which colors are close to the land, which colors are closer up, higher up, and tell me what time of day this is. Yeah, she got a dog. She should have had a wolf. See, if Layla was to ride with a 4-legged friend, my 4-legged friend would be a wolf, not a dog, especially not a chihuahua. What that chihuahua gonna do? Wow, wow. Okay, what do y'all think in Zoom? What prayer y'all think it is in Zoom? And I'll tell you who's right.
I'll go with Asr.
Okay, we got Asr as an answer. Any other answers?
I got Fajr.
We got Fajr as an answer. Miss Jackson said sunrise. Anyone else? We got Maghrib. Okay, we got every answer you can think of. And guess whose answer is correct? Only one that got it right. Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson. MashaAllah. And why is this sunrise? Look at the yellow. The yellow is at the bottom. If this were Asr, where would the yellow be if it was Asr? Would the yellow be at the bottom? Would the yellow be close to the land? Or would the yellow be up in the sky and a different color would be at the land? Exactly. This is not Asr. If it were Asr, the yellow would be at the top. And you would see orange at the bottom. That is going to turn into red. Remember I told you that's how you can tell sunrise from sunset in Asr. As for sunrise, you will see the bottom as yellow. Think about it. The sun is coming up. So as it comes up, what color is the sun? It's yellow. So the yellow will be at the bottom close to land. And at the top would be white because the sun is really a star. And the sun is white. The light is white. So you can tell sunrise from Asr and Maghrib because the top part of the sky would be a bright white. And the bottom near the land would be yellow. Not orange, but different colors of yellow. Light yellow, medium yellow, a darker yellow, like what you see. Whereas Maghrib would be more dominant orange. You wouldn't see so much yellow. You'd see orange and turning into red. Good job, Miss Jackson. You see how you thought it was hard? I told you it's easy. It's not hard. It is not hard to tell what time of day it is. You know, I don't use a clock at all. I'm going to be honest, guys. I've been doing this all my life, so I don't have a watch, and I don't even use a clock. I can look and tell you when it's 5:30. I can tell you when it's 1:30, 2:30. I can tell you the time just by looking at the sky based on the area that I live in, the hemisphere I'm in. Now, if I move to a different hemisphere, it would be different. Okay, but I can tell you looking at the sky here in Ohio, the different times. So this is sunrise. And why is it not Fajr? Why was Mina wrong? Mina, why come this ain't Fajr?
Because it's not dark, but I should have said the hidden time because this is what the same one I got wrong last time. When I said it was Fajr because
this is the time that we don't pray. This is like she said, this is the forbidden time to pray. And that's why it's stuck in your mind. Because Mina is reminding herself, don't pray at this time. So that's why it's stuck in your mind. Yeah, you have to wait till the sun comes completely up. If you want to make any sunnah prayers, you wait till that sun is completely up. The duha prayer. The duha prayer begins when that sun has completely risen and it ends at dhuhr. So you cannot perform the duha prayer now. You have to wait till that yellow is completely gone. How do you know that the sun is completely up? There would be no more yellow. When the yellow disappears, that's when you know the sun has risen. Everybody got that? Good job, Miss Jackson. I told you you'd get good at it. MashaAllah. So now let's start today's lecture. And I'm going to start off by speaking about the Iqamah. Now, the Iqamah, it's pronounced after the Adhan. The Iqamah means I'm getting ready to pray right now. So The only time that you pronounce the Iqamah is when you're getting ready to pray. You don't pronounce it immediately after the Adhan unless you're getting ready to pray after the Adhan. But say, for example, the Adhan has been called, but you're doing something, you're going to pray after you get through doing whatever you're doing. You complete what you're doing and then call the Adhan and perform whatever prayer it is. And just like the Adhan, there are several ways in which the Iqamah can be pronounced too. The first way is to say the first takbir 4 times and to say everything else twice, except for the last statement of La ilaha illallah. And that's based on the following hadith from Abu Makhzura. May Allah be pleased with him. He said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught him the Iqamah consisting of 17 verses. And here they are. And I want the new shahadas to take a screenshot when I'm done with this page, because this way it's in the phonetics. I tried to put it in phonetics for you. Allahu Akbar 4 times. So it would be Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah. Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah twice. Then Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah twice. Hayya Allah Salat. Hayya Allah Salat twice. Okay? Hayya Allah Falah. Hayya Allah Falah twice. Qad qamat Salat. Qad qamat Salat twice. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Now, this is the Iqamah that you hear most of people say. And there's the source. This is related by the 5. That means it's authentic. It's authentic. All right? Also, to say the beginning and ending takbir and the phrase could come into salat twice, this is another way. And then everything else once, making it 11 phrases. Now, I did have a couple of brothers come to me over the years. They went to the mosque, some of my new shahadas. They went to the mosque and they heard the Adhan being pronounced the Iqamah pronounced this way, and they thought they was in some innovative mosque. And I had to tell them, no, there's a hadith on that. They didn't believe me. So they went and asked another brother. And that brother told him, Layla don't know what she's talking about. I said, oh, I don't? Bam! Here's the hadith. This hadith is from Abdullah ibn Zayd. He said, when you stand for the prayer, say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, Hayya Allah Salat, Hayya Allah Falat, Qad qamat Salat, Qad qamat Salat, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. There it is. And by the way, this is the way I would say it. This is the Iqamah I pronounce, and this is the Iqamah most of the masajids I go to pronounce. So I guess if those brothers had came to my mosque, they'd have been told the same thing. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. Well, this is the most common one that I use and the mosques I frequent use. Now, I put this here, this third one. This third way of pronouncing the Iqamah is based on Imam Malik. Imam Malik was not, I repeat, was not I repeat, was not a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as these other brothers were. He was one of the 4 imams. He became the governor of Medina. Now, he says that when he went to Medina, he found the people there performing the Iqamah this way, which consisted of saying Iqamah Salat only once, making it 10 phrases. And this is the way that Imam Malik chose to do it because of that. But there is no hadith. I repeat, there is no hadith. I repeat, there is no hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says Iqamah Salat only once. This is where we get into problems with the madhabs. This is where we get into problems with the madhabs. Let me point this out. For those people who follow Imam Maliki, the Maliki school of thought. Does anybody know anybody that follows the Maliki school of thought? I know a famous person that follows a Maliki school of thought. A famous person who y'all consider one of the greatest scholars in America. His name is Hamza Yusuf. Hamza Yusuf follows the Maliki school of thought. Okay? So this is why if you are praying behind people that follow the Maliki school of thought, they say Iqamah Salat only one time. Is it based on what the Prophet said? No. Did any of the companions do that we know of the original? I'm talking the original companions. It's not recorded. There's no hadith recorded that any of the original companions did that either. But this is the Maliki school of thought. So if you praying with Hamza Yusuf and his followers, you're going to hear Iqamah Salat only one time. Y'all got that? So I personally don't go with this third one. This third view, I don't support. I don't support this third view because for me, prayer is an act of worship. And as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, every act of worship must be performed the way he showed us, the way he taught us. And he didn't do this. There's no hadith from the original companions of it being done. So I don't care what anybody else say. I don't even care what the second and third generation say, because they didn't meet with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, y'all got that? But so the first 2 ways are what you're going to come upon the most. But the Malikis, they'll do it one time. They'll say Iqamah Salat one time. All right. Next point. Oh, did y'all take a screenshot? Did you brothers get a screenshot of this? Let me hold it. Take a screenshot. Okay. And I got the sources. So take the screenshot. All right. Now, one of the things that I didn't speak about the last time we met, everyone knows though, when you hear the Adhan, not the Iqamah, the Adhan, not the Iqamah. When the Adhan is being recited, there's a supplication that comes after it. Okay? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a supplication made between the Adhan and the Iqamah is never rejected. Let me tell y'all what this hadith is talking about. A lot of times, if you guys go to the masjid, you'll see here's the person called, like say Brother Tashri. Brother Tashri goes to the mosque, he calls the Adhan. After he calls the Adhan, of course, the supplication, y'all know the supplication I'm talking about, asking for Allah to give the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that special place in paradise. After reciting that, you'll see other people raise their hands and make personal supplications. I'm talking about personal supplications. I ain't talking about the supplication asking Allah to give Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that special place. I'm talking about after making that, you say, oh Allah, give me a righteous husband. Oh Allah, give me a righteous husband. Oh Allah, give me that new job that I applied for. Oh Allah, keep me strong and firm. Personal supplications. Well, that's why they make them, because of this hadith here. The Prophet said whenever, one of the best times to make personal supplication and get it answered is after you hear the Adhan. We already know, and we talked about how another good time to make personal supplication is during the last third of the night. Well, during the last third of the night is not the only time. Also, when you are prostrating, that's another good time to make personal supplication. And after hearing the Adhan, when y'all hear that Adhan being called, and after you send blessings upon the Prophet, make your personal supplication. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Did I mess up? I'm hitting the wrong mouse. Make your personal supplication. Uh-oh. I'm doing something crazy. Hold on, guys. I keep hitting the wrong mouse. I'm used to using that one computer. Hold on. Let me take y'all back to it. Yeah. Okay, here it is. And here's the authenticity of this hadith. There's the source. All the hadiths I'm giving you are authentic. Those are the sources. We have this hadith here. What should we say? That the companions came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, what should we say, O Messenger of Allah? When the Prophet made the comment that the supplication made between the Adhan and the Iqamah is never rejected, the companions asked him, what should we say? He said, ask Allah for forgiveness and for goodness in this world and the hereafter. Then another companion, Ibn Amir, he said, a man came and said, O Prophet of Allah, the callers to prayer get more rewards than us. The Prophet said, say what they say, and when they finish, ask, and Allah will give you whatever you ask for. So here's the dalil, and all these hadiths are authentic. So that's another good time to make personal dua, personal supplication. So when you sisters are listening to those Adhan callers on your phone, after you send blessings upon the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make your personal supplication too. We also have the hadith of Salama, one of the wives of the Prophet, who was also a scholar of fiqh. She was a scholar like Aisha. She said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught me to say after the sunset call to prayer, O Allah, this is the beginning of your night and the end of your day, and I have called upon you, so forgive me of my sins. Y'all see that? So all of these hadiths are authentic. You want your supplications answered? Supplicate after the Adhan. So now what I'm going to do is answer the question that a couple of brothers asked me the other day. And brother Tajri, make sure that you copy this too. What are the conditions for the caller to prayer? In other words, in order for me to call the Adhan, what are the conditions. Sister Miss Jackson, your personal supplication can be in any language. You can talk to Allah in whatever language. How are you going to make it in any other language? Do you know how to speak Arabic? If you don't know Arabic, how are you going to ask Allah for anything? Talk to Allah in whatever language you speak. If you speak ant or dolphin, talk to Allah in dolphin. Okay? Okay, so now, what are the conditions in order to be a caller to the prayer? Here they are. Number one, you cannot get paid for it. Y'all understand that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told one of the companions, he said, you are their imam. Be careful about the weak people praying amongst you, and appoint a person to call the prayer who does not accept money for it. So you cannot do the adhan and ask the imam to pay you for it. And I had to explain that to a sister, because a few years ago, one of my students took their son to the mosque and asked the imam to let her son call the adhan on the weekends, like I suggest. He did. And then she went and said, well, can you pay my son $20 a week for doing it? And I'll make him do it every day. The imam said, we cannot pay you for that. This is haram. So there's no money for that. You can't expect to get paid. And there's the source. There's the source. I'm always going to give y'all the source. Okay? Second condition. To call the adhan, you have to have wudu. You have to be in a state of purity. Where's the evidence? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, nothing prevented me from returning your greeting, except that I don't like to mention the name of Allah when I'm not clean. And this is when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a companion, saw him and gave salams to him, and the Prophet didn't answer because he was in a state of janazah. Okay, and there's the evidence. So you should have wudu. You're going to go to the mosque to do the adhan? Okay, don't ask for no money. And also have wudu. Thirdly, you should stand and face the direction of the Kaaba. And this is based on the following. One of the companions said there's agreement that it is sunnah for the caller to be standing and for him to be heard from far away. It is also sunnah that he face the Qibla. If he turns away from the Qibla, his adhan will be accepted, but it will be disliked. Okay? So stand and face the direction of the Qibla. And the fourth condition is you should turn your head and neck and chest to the right when you say Hayya Salat, and to the left when you say Hayya Lal Falat. Okay? I want you brothers, excuse me, I got acid reflux. Take screenshots, you brothers, of this page here. All you brothers, screenshot this. Wait a couple seconds. Yeah, so that way can't nobody come at you about your adhan. So now we're going to speak about the adhan before and at the beginning of the prayer time. And as every Muslim should know, the adhan means that the time for prayer has come in. What's the whole purpose of us calling it? To let the Muslims in the city or the Muslims in the town know that the time for prayers come in. Yes, Brother Tajri. Yes. Yes. Okay. The adhan is to be made exactly at the beginning of the prayer. time, except for Fajr. It said before Fajr, so especially during Ramadan, so the people will know that it's time to get up and break their fast. Okay, if we're fasting during Ramadan, the first Adhan means wake up. Whatever suhoor you're going to eat, go ahead and eat it. But other than that, the Adhan is made exactly on time. It's supposed to be performed on time. I repeat, on time. As soon as the time for that prayer comes in. Okay? Except for the Fajr, especially for the people that are fasting. This is for the people that are fasting so they can know that suhoor is almost over. And also, you want to leave enough time between the Adhan and the Iqamah to allow the people to get ready to pray. So say, for example, you're at the mosque and it's time for Maghrib, that you will call the Adhan, but don't just get up and jump up and do the prayer. Wait a little bit. Let the time go so the brothers can make wudu. You want to give the people enough time to make wudu so they can come out and pray. Everybody understand that? That's why, as I was telling one of the sisters here, that's why the masjids will not do the prayer at the time they have. Say, for example, Maghrib comes in at 8 o'clock. But the imam will not pray it until 8:30. That's why. He's allowing people enough time to get to the mosque. Is there a time limit? No. There is no time limit. Anybody that tells you that you have to wait 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 10, they're lying. The Prophet didn't have a specific time limit. He did it based on good judgment. So that's why your mosque may not perform the congregational prayer until 8:30, even though it comes in at 8. The imam is allowing the people enough time to get to the mosque, to get from home there or whatever. Does everybody understand that? So that's why there's two different times. They'll have prayer time at 8 o'clock. Then they'll have another time after that, 8:30. They let you know that's what time we're doing it in congregation. Does that make sense to everyone? Is that clear? You brothers understand that? And you sisters too, who keeps asking me those type of questions. All right. And finally for today. Oh, wait a minute. Whoever calls the Adhan, he can do the Iqamah too. This is another question that the young brothers ask me. Can I do the Adhan and the Iqamah? Yes, you can. Okay? Some of the early scholars even say that you should. Okay? And again, a lot of people say, well, after the Iqamah, when should we stand for the prayer? Again, there is no specific time. There is no specific time. The imam allows enough time for the people, to get there. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, who was the nephew of Maymuna, he would stand when Iqamah to Salat was being recited. But is that a must? No. Okay? And also, this is very important for you brothers. You should not leave the mosque if the Adhan has been called unless you pray. Very important. If you brothers go to the mosque and the Adhan is called, unless you have no choice but to leave. Like say you got to be at work, that's different. But you go to the mosque and you hear the Adhan, you have to stay and make the prayer with the imam. That's based on the following hadith from Abu Hurairah. He says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if any of you is in the mosque and the Adhan is made, you should not leave until you pray. And there's the source. Also, Abu Hurairah tells us that a man left the mosque after the Adhan had been pronounced, and he was told, Abu Hurairah said, that man has disobeyed the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of these hadiths are authentic. And also another companion says, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, it is the utmost apathy and sign of disbelief and hypocrisy that a person hears the Adhan and does not respond with the prayer. Y'all see that? This is a serious thing. This is a serious thing. If you're at the mosque and the Adhan is being called, you don't leave until you pray the congregational prayer. Y'all see that? I want all you brothers to take a screenshot. That's all the dalil on that and all the authentic sources. There's no scholars of Islam, scholars of hadith that will say these hadiths are not authentic. And I'm talking real scholars. I ain't talking about the famous personalities. The famous personalities don't know anything about a hadith. I'm talking about real scholars that y'all don't see because they ain't got time to be on YouTube. They too busy. Okay, so those are the things I'm going to go over today.